Hello and welcome to the Downloading Utilities webinar. My name is Michael Poles. I'm an applications engineer here at Unitronics. We'll cover downloading software such as UniDownloader, UniDownload Designer, and Download Manager along with some helpful examples. Using Unitronics Downloading Utilities enables you to build a complete compiled project and send it anywhere to be installed in a PLC using a standalone downloader. This includes Vision, M90, 91, and Jazz controllers. You'll be generating a compressed and compiled application from within either U90 Ladder or VisiLogic directly. Your end user will be able to download the application and OS, but will not be able to view or modify the application or logic in U90 or VisiLogic. There will be 4 simple steps to completion of the task. The 4 main steps in the process of creating, compiling, combining, and downloading the intended project file. Once the application is complete, you must first create a project file. This is done within the programming software. These files contain complete applications in compressed format, including programming software, including both ladder and HMI applications. These files cannot be opened, but can be downloaded to a controller after preparing the file in the next step. Okay, so the application is built and compiled. It then needs to be paired with selections or options for the end user. This is the job for the UniDownload Designer. This utility is used to create a compressed, compiled final download file, or UDC file, that can include the complete project created in the previous step, as well as other download options such as communication settings, selecting an OS, and user interactions options set with the Download Designer. This can then be saved as any other ordinary file, attached in an email, and sent anywhere. Once received by the end user, the file is then opened and it can be downloaded with one click using the UniDownloader. Looking deeper into the required steps, we find we'll start with a completed project, and that's what we have. Now we must create a project file, or download a file. Again, this step is performed in the programming software. Our intention is to make a file of a complete compiled project. You'll find this option under the project drop-down menu. There will be an option for Create Project Files. Follow the on-screen instructions, which defines that the file is made for use in UniDownload Designer. These files include both the ladder and HMI applications, data tables, and an upload file. Once the file is created, we can move on to the next step. UniDownload Designer is found in the Tools drop-down menu in VisiLogic or U90 Ladder. This utility is used to generate the UDC file to be downloaded to the end user. The UDC file is the download file type for all controller models. Moving forward, we can see we can adjust the PLC family. This will cause the designer options to change accordingly. Select files and options for the UDC file, including the application or project file created in the previous step. The options you select here control the actions available to the end user who will be downloading the UDC file. You will give the end user limited flexibility at the discretion of the programmer. This is set within the Download Designer, and it is called User Interaction. Some of the available selections consist of syncing the real-time clock with the PC clock, setting communication settings. Keep in mind that if you adjust the communication settings here, they cannot be adjusted by the end user. You can also set download and upload options in order to burn or create an upload file. And you can also select user prompt or task selection. User prompt allows the end user to select what will happen at the end of the download, to restart or to do nothing. And also the task selection, which allows the user to select which tasks are going to be downloaded to the controller, such as the OS file or bin or boot portions of the file. End users with no experience, whose situation just requires an update to the application, this can be as simple as one button simplicity. For beginners or advanced users who can have the ability to choose options like what to download and setting the communication parameters. However, unless the project is downloaded with the ability to upload and it has no password protection, then the end user will have no option to upload or modify the programmer's application in any way, no matter what user selections are defined in this process. So a clear benefit you have is that the end user can download the application changes for you, saving time and money without having the ability to go in and modify the logic alone. Uni Downloader, this is where we put all of the options that we've selected to use. Uni Downloader is quite simple, standalone utility. As you can see in the image here, there are not many icons or tools to be selected. You will find an option to open the design file. You can also set the communication settings if they're applicable. If they're not, then you will see that this will be grayed out. There was also a run, stop, help, and exit button. Once we reach this point, however, we don't need much except for the one run button. We also have the utility Uni Download Manager. The Unitronics Download Manager enables you to download different applications to multiple or local remote PLCs. These applications are in the same compressed UDC format, the same file type that we've been working with the process to generate for Uni Downloader. However, you can download to multiple controllers simultaneously using the same file types within the software. This is a great piece of software for OEMs. Now we look into an example of Download Manager. This shows the software in action. As you can see, there are 3 controllers defined, and there are multiple options for the software that we can select. We will cover this shortly. This concludes the PowerPoint presentation. I will show you now some of the example applications where we will step through the process of creating a UDC file and putting it to good use. We'll start with InvisiLogic to display the how-tos of the downloader procedure. We first begin with a defined and prepared application, which I have here. Under the project drop-down, we will find the Create Project Files. In the window that opens, we are going to select the appropriate tab for our situation. As we can see, there is a Download a File option in the center. When selected, we can see there's a brief explanation, but there are no fancy options to select. We just make the decision to create the file and select that option. You'll be prompted with some notifications and direct where to save the file, and then the project file is created. As you can see here, it's prompting me to save the file. I'm going to save it to a familiar location on my desktop. And then we can move on. Once we have generated the project file, the next step in the process is to prepare the compressed file with an OS and download options. We're still working with InvisiLogic. We'll navigate to the Tools drop-down menu. This is where we find the Uni Download Designer. This is where we'll select the options that we're going to be working with. Stepping through the selections, we first see we have to select the PLC family. You select the controller model that you're working with, and as I stated, the options below will change accordingly depending on what controller you will select. You also have an option to sync the real-time clock with the PC clock, the ability to force the downloader communication settings, and if you select that, you'll find you get a window that's eerily familiar to what you would find in InvisiLogic. So you just define the communication parameters, such as the baud rate, and this will now become part of the UDC file. I am not going to force the communication parameters, so I will leave it blank so I can modify it later on. In the next main block, we find the areas to link the binary boot and OS files to be included with the downloader file. The downloader file is the application or the project file created in the previous step. So I'm going to first include the application for the project file that we had just created. Again, I recall I saved this on my desktop. And then I will include some other OS, boot, and binary information just to be included with the file. There are other multiple options included below the file section. This is the application download options. It is a property of D90 files or JAS M90 or M91 files, as well as DVI files, which are standard series controllers, to contain the backup and upload data that was set in the original application. However, VDF files do not contain this data. Backup and upload data is determined by the options you select here in Uni Downloader. This option, Backup DLUs, this is used to back up the application to the flash memory at download. This enables the PLC to recover the application in the event of total power loss, including battery failure. Download data for upload, select this to enable the application to be uploaded to the PLC at a later time. There is also an Edit PLC Unique ID Permissions button. Each PLC has a unique ID number. This will be stored in System Double Word 9. You would put that here to restrict a particular program to a PLC. The last series of options is the user interaction. Allow user prompt, we can see we select this prompt for the user to perform an action after download. And you see the after download selection here, you would select what option the user would wish to choose, such as resetting the PLC. We also have allow task selection. You're going to select this to enable the user to download only specific parts of the UDC file, such as the OS file, by selecting or deselecting them in the software. Once all choices are made, and we make the UDC file and save it. Again, I will save this to a familiar location on my desktop. And now I can exit Uni Download Designer. Now we will open up Uni Downloader. Your end user will be the one with Uni Downloader, so you can send the file to any recipient for download. Now once we open it, we can see all we need to do is open the file with Uni Downloader. This will be a standalone utility that you can provide to your end user. And you can see here all we need to do is open the design file. I'm familiar with where I stored it, so I will go retrieve it from my desktop. And you can see the checkboxes here for other options and that were defined and included here. We can select that we can include portions of the OS. And again, I can select the communication settings. Here, I'm going to try to check to make sure that my COM port is available and I'm communicating with the intended unit. And you can see I am, so now I can exit. If the programmer was certain of the connection, you can set them in the Uni Download Designer options, and then this connection settings here will be grayed out. However, if you have advanced users that you're comfortable with them setting the settings, you can leave it for them to decide. At that point, basically, you open the file, set the connection settings, and there's nothing left to push except for the run. So now we will run the applications. You can see now I have connected, and I'm in the process of writing the application to the controller. We also have the ability to use Uni-Download Manager. This allows us to download to multiple controllers simultaneously. This handles the same type of UDC files which we have just created. When we open Uni-Download Manager, we find that you just need to open the file folder that contains the UDC files. I have a pre-prepared UDC folder for this purpose. Again, I will browse to that location, and you can see I've selected my folder, and I select OK. You can see it says I have 3 files selected, and I did expect 3 files, so I'll click OK. You want to keep in mind, if you're intending to download to multiple controllers like this, you will need to consolidate all of your UDC files into one standard folder. You can navigate through the 3 UDC files to see how the utility operates. The units can be selected with the checkboxes linked to the file name. If the communication parameters are undefined or left to be malleable to the end user, you can set them here in the lower half of the software. Keep in mind, if communication parameters were set with the Download Designer, you cannot change them here. You will also find the Tasks tab at the bottom. If I was working with certain tasks and I only wanted to download certain portions to my controller, I can select them here. And again, now I'll go back to make sure I'm still not downloading the previous software. As you can see, I'm still going on COM4. So if I'm working within the Download Manager, I do not want to download this file at this time because it uses COM4. So now I can run through the Uni-Download Manager, and you can see it download to multiple controllers at the same time. As you can see, I'm connecting and downloading to the controller as intended. Once all the parameters are selected, basically all you have to do is select Run in here, just like the previous software. And everything is just as simple as that. This concludes the presentation of downloading utilities. I hope you found the information presented helpful. Thank you for joining us. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us or send us your questions to support@unitronics.com. We'd be happy to get back to you. Thank you very much.